And welcome in to In-Game Chat for Saturday, October the 28th, 2022. It is Season 16, Episode 37. And I'm Scott. Welcome into the show. Oh, okay. Looks like Matt will be joining us, probably for our commercial break here. We might have a quick little camera change whenever he gets here. Get everything, rush in the middle of a break to get everything set up. So we can get Matt on camera there, but he should be joining us here for the second segment of this hour. Maybe on into the rest of the show as well. We'll see if he's able to make it for that coming up. Yes, I know. I need to remember to do the clapping thing. The little what is it called? Slate board here, so that it can sync up the audio. That's the only reason we use it. That's it. RJ went out, found one of those things, spent plenty of money on it, and got it set up. So, and it really comes in handy. I can either do this, but the little clapboard, the slate board works so much better. Anyway, welcome into the show. RJ is not here. He is out of town this week. He'll be back next week. Like I said, Matt should be coming in for the second segment of this hour on into the rest of the show. I hope so. We'll probably then talk about what we've been playing, so no need to go into what I've been playing, although, you know what that is. It's Destiny, that's it. Just doing the grind. Although I did pick up, well, I say pick up. It's free to play anyway. Scorn is downloaded, but not yet played. Wendy gave it a shot, got frustrated with it, and was like, meh. From what I understand on Scorn, it's a very Myst-like situation where it's like, here you go, here you are, figure it out. We're not going to hold your hand. We're not going to give you waypoints. We're not going to tell you what to do. You just figure it out on your own. Some games that can work. Sometimes that can't. A lot of the times, I don't know. I am for and against that. In certain situations, I'm for it, obviously. In certain situations, I'm not. And I really can't explain to you which ones would work better. I think in Myst, it worked in a sense that it was fine. You could just figure it out on your own if you wanted to put in the time to figure that out. The more you explored, the more you discovered and started putting the pieces together. Maybe that works in other games. If it's done well, then obviously, yeah, you can do it that way. But when it's not, Scorn is on Game Pass. Bama Brian was asking that in the chat room. We've got a phone call here, and I'll grab it here in a minute. But yes, Scorn is on Game Pass. And it may also be on PC Game Pass as well. I'm not sure. I don't even know if it runs better on PC or whatever. But yeah, it is on Game Pass, at least for the consoles. So I'll probably give that a shot this weekend. Have this whole, what's the whole thing? Announcing your plans is a good way to hear God laugh. Because I had this whole thing like, here's what I'm going to do this weekend, and we'll see if that comes to fruition. I'll tell you about that after we take this phone call. Hi, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
I think you said October 28th is the 29th.
I wrote it down as the 29th. I hope I didn't say 28th. But
well, I don't know. Maybe it's my hearing. But anyway, you're live. We're good. October 29th. I'll be listening. Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay. No, I have, because memory. I have a script that I read. Can I? I've been doing this for how many years? Can I recite this from memory? Nope. That's why I have it written down. Sorry, I'm adjusting here. So yeah, just sometimes it works when they tell you what to do. Sometimes it doesn't. We could all use a good tutorial. And then there's the other question of that. And I did not mean to get on a rant of this, but there are some tutorials that are like, this is too much. If your tutorial can't be brief enough, like if you can't get the mechanics within just a little bit of the beginning of the game, I can't remember what game I was playing. It was a railroad city builder. It was one of the Steam Next Fest type game things where it was just a bunch of demos for upcoming games, and I downloaded it. God, it took forever. By the time I got so deep into I'd forgotten the beginnings of the tutorial. Like, hey, we're going to show you how to, lay down railroad track, and then we're going to show you how to clear this area, and then we're going to show you how to do this and all this. Then you need to set up a post and this and all this stuff. By the time I had gotten to where, I had not finished the tutorial, but I had already forgotten what I had to do to basically set up what I was doing to begin with. I don't know. Hi, you're on in-game chat. Who's this?
It's me, Chris.
Hey, man. What's going on?
Not much. You play more Destiny, huh?
Yeah. This is always going to be the case, man. For the most part. Now, when I clear this Halloween event coming up, the Halloween event is over with. I just made it sound like it was a Hanukkah thing. A Halloween event. The Halloween event that when it is over with, which will be not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. In other words, there's another week of it, I believe, on into November. But when that thing's over with, and I've done everything, I will be finished for the season, which it doesn't end until sometime in December. So be nice to have that done and behind me. I'll work on saving some bounties up and doing what I did last time, but not in a sense of preparing for a raid or anything like that, just to get a jump start on the season. So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing. What about you? This conversation is about you, not me.
Got into playing the Switch version of No Man's Sky and forgot how much it was fun for me, and then upgraded the PlayStation 4 version to PlayStation 5, played it for like one day, and then got Star Ocean yesterday and have been playing it nonstop since.
Hey, No Man's Sky is a good example of that whole situation of like, here, we're going to throw you down and you just figure it out. That I was talking about at the beginning of the show. Games that throw you in without really a tutorial. And No Man's Sky, if I'm right, if I can remember right, there was really not a tutorial. There was like get in your ship, find resources, and you kind of had to do that. But for the most part, you didn't have. It was just like go explore, figure it out on your own. There were objectives, yes. There were waypoints as far as like collect this many, now do this, and now do this. But you really didn't know why you were doing it, and you didn't really get an idea of what to do after you'd done it. In other words, it's like, okay, go to your space station. All right, now go do this. And then at some point, it just leaves it open for you to just try and continue to get to the center of the universe or whatever it was, their universe type thing. So how did it play? You'd probably have no comparison as to how it played on Switch, I guess.
Well, the Switch version runs a little slower because, it's not as strong as the other systems and PC, but you can play single player on it. Supposedly there's no multiplayer on the Switch at all, but at least you can take it portably if you want to play it on the go somewhere. That's the
biggest draw with the Switch, and of course obviously the Steam Deck as well, is that you can, you just take it with you whenever you're ready to go. I was going to ask you, I'm surprised that you're not on the Bayonetta 3 train. Didn't that come out Friday?
I never did play any of the series before, so I haven't decided.
That surprises me as well, unless we've already talked about this, and I shouldn't be surprised, but that surprises me. I figured that'd be a game that you'd have played already.
Nope, never have played any of the series.
I'm a fan of the series. I just haven't played a lot of it. I played the first game and really liked it. Never beat it, but I then picked up the second game thinking, okay, I'll go back and finish the first and play the second. Didn't do that either. then I'll pick up the third at some point.
Me, so yeah, I decide now. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm of the same mind of like, you know what? I haven't played the first two. Chances are I'm not going to play the third, and by the time I might get around to it, I don't need to be paying full price because it'll be cheaper by the time I get to something like that. So I'm perfectly fine with giving that a pass at the moment and just kind of waiting that one out. Speaking of waiting for cheaper games, I still don't have any Black Friday deals. A couple of places have put up their Black Friday sales, or at least their early Black Friday. And I mean early. I had something last week from Best Buy talking about, here's some Black Friday deals. I didn't even look at the game section. I looked at some of the TV stuff, but I was like, it's far too early for this. And then I checked out some other little Black Friday inserts, and they were just minimal at best. They hadn't really released the hounds, as it were. It was still very minimal as to what they were showing off. So still waiting for that, but I imagine by next week we're going to have a pretty good idea of some of the discounts and some of the games that we'll be seeing on sale. I would think. Could be wrong. So
yeah, maybe so. We'll see.
Yep. Just kind of waiting and seeing what's gonna happen. So, anything else that you played, or anything else that stuck out of the ones that you mentioned?
No, not really. Just been taking it easy and enjoying Star Ocean so far.
Yeah, that is okay. I get it. Yeah, that's more your very large over. No, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Massive world games, I guess. Yeah. I don't know, massive RPG type things, and I don't mean multiplayer. I just mean a massive, like there's a lot to it, and it's an RPG. Which isn't that what that is? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I thought. Never got into those. Never did. Have them? I own. Well, I don't know if I own that one. Wasn't there a Star Ocean on the SNES?
Yeah, the first one came out on Super NES, but officially we never did get it over here in the States unless you got a copy that was translated into English, or got a digital version that was translated, or got a remake of it on another system. But yeah, the first one officially didn't come out here until later on in years.
Yeah.
And then I think the second one was on PlayStation 1 in there, and then from there on it was, I think, a couple of them were on PlayStation 2. One was on the 360, and then... Did they put
Star Ocean on the SNES Mini that released?
Don't really know.
I can't remember.
I think the first one's on the Nintendo Switch Online service still. I think
maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm thinking of that, because I knew it was available.
And then they were also on the PlayStation Portable as well as too in the past. So yeah. They've been mostly on the PlayStation system.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate you calling in as usual. It's great talking to you, and we'll talk to you again next week. All right.
All right. See y'all later then.
All right, man. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I never got into the RPG stuff. I do the Destiny's about as close as it comes to doing some kind of an RPG, and that is not even an RPG. Something I was thinking about on the way in, I went to an event in town today. It was a chili cook-off, so I was tasting all kinds of chili, which may affect things during the show. I don't know, but it's fantastic. Anyway, ran into people like, hey, I recognize your voice, or hey, I know, yeah, it's from there, and that sort of thing. And it was great meeting those people. What I realized is that it made me think about people who have said, hey, I listened to your show on Saturday. I don't know what you're talking about, but I listened to your show anyway. There's a lot of people locally who have this on in the background for whatever reason, and they hear it because they hear my voice, and they mention it to me, and they are listening in some way of what I'm talking about, but they don't understand what I'm talking about. I would love to know specifically some of the things that you don't understand. I would love to know where I need to go more in depth on what I'm talking about, or how I'm giving out that information, to know like what would make it easier to clear that sort of thing up as to what I'm talking about, sort of thing. Obviously, I'm not going to get into some long discussion about how Destiny works, but I could somehow give you a better explanation of what I'm talking about, or better yet, I think the better idea on that is to not go in depth on those things. Just say, yeah, I played this game and that's it. And then really just go into the behind the scenes of things when we talk about like, how horrible a company Activision is, or when we talk about, what else do we have? I mean, just in the news here, where Steam, which is a digital storefront, where people go online on their PC to play video games, had 30 million people logged in on, I want to say it was Sunday of all days, this past Sunday, which was the most I think that they had ever had. Now, when Matt gets here, we're going to talk about the Resident Evil showcase. Resident Evil being a video game franchise, and they have lately been remaking tons of those. They remade the first game, the second game, the third game, and now they are remaking the fourth game in the series. And so he may know something about that, but he's as more of a Resident Evil fan than I am. Although 4, I understand, is got a lot of people excited. Not only because 4 was pretty good when it originally released, and I don't remember what year that was. See if I had RJ here, he would be able to look that up. But I don't remember what year that was that it released. But getting the remake, I think there's a lot of excitement for that. So there's that. I mean, what else do we have that I could go into? Talking about remakes, CD Projekt Red, which is the name of a company who made the Witcher games, Witcher 2, Witcher 3. They also recently released Cyberpunk 2077 or 2477. I don't know. It was a buggy mess that they made. Although they've sent out updates, and I guess it's better. I don't really know. There was a certain point in time where I, was excited for it and thought, well, if it gets fixed, I'll still play it. And then we passed something in that timeline where I said, it's too late now. You might have fixed it, but I'm moving on to play something else. But anyway, they have announced that they're going to remake the first Witcher game. The first Witcher game is the only Witcher game I had played through completely. And once I was done playing through it years ago, I said to myself, I'm glad that's over. I'll move on to the next one, which I did for a little bit and didn't enjoy, or I didn't finish it. And then I bought the third game and I played a little bit of that. I did enjoy it, but I just never finished it, never got too far into it. I'm sure it'll be better to control. It'll look way better, but I don't know that I have the energy to go back through Witcher 1 again. I just don't. I don't know. We'll see, because they're going to show it off and it's going to look great, and just the eye candy alone of how it all looks pretty will be something that'll draw me to it. The controls will be better, I'm sure. They'll tweak all of that. So yeah, we'll see. We shall see. What else do we have? There was something else in the news to go. Oh, interesting. We got a list here. The 13 most frightening moments in games that live on in our heads, rent-free. An article from Kotaku. I would love to talk about that. Sometimes just get rid of the news and say, hey, tell me about your horror game experience. Like, what is memorable moments for you, or what is memorable titles for you in the horror genre as far as video games are concerned? Why do you like playing them? Why do you hate playing them? I like them. I don't necessarily like playing them. Depends on what it is. Depends on what you call a horror game. Last of Us, is that a horror game? I don't think so. Does it have horror elements to it? Some scare moments? Yeah, I think so. Does it have tension? Easily. Because of the way you have to creep around and not make a lot of noise, that sort of thing. But does that qualify as a horror game? I don't think so. I don't think it does. It's stealthy. Stealth game. Stuff like that. So, Condemned was a good one to watch. That was back on the Xbox 360, published by, I believe, Sega. That was a fun one to watch. I watched James play it. Matt will be here to talk about that because he was over there watching James play it as well. So we played that, and he played it. He was going to be our horror guy. Like, you play those games, we're going to sit back with our tub of cheese balls and watch you play the game and enjoy watching that. But yeah, not something I did. Let's see, I got a message from Matt. Oh, he is on his way now, so that is good to know. About the time he shows up, I will throw it to commercial here, and then we will set up a camera for him and get him on the show here as well. Let's see. Trying to think of some other horror type games, or do they qualify as a horror type game? I don't know. Yeah, Resident Evil. Thar66 says, in the first Resident Evil, you're walking down a hallway and then these zombie Doberman bust through the window. And yeah, I do remember that. I know it probably holds up in the remake, but does it still hold up in the original game? I don't know how long it's been since you've gone back to the original game. That's another good question. Replaying horror games, is it still a thing? Is it like kind of like rewatching a horror film where you know where this is going to happen? Does it still hold your attention? Does it still give you the jump? Lethal Migrant says Destiny is a horror game. It's frightfully awful. That's great. Alien Isolation. That's a good one. Would you qualify that as horror? Or is that stealth? Or is it a mixture of both? Now, phones are in here. It likely could be Chris. It could be Biloxi Gambler because he's been playing some horror games. I don't know why I'm trying to predict who this is going to be when I could just go to the phones and say, hi, you're on in-game chat. Who's this?
Hey, it's me, Leonard. What's up, Brad?
I was completely wrong on both. Hey, Leonard, what's going on?
Not much, man. Hey, so I wasn't going to call in until you guys mentioned Resident Evil and that dog jump scare.
Yeah.
From the very first one.
Right.
And I was debating on calling in because, like, for me, man, any game with a jump scare, I don't like playing because, like, Five Nights at Freddy's, I tried to do it a long time ago.
No.
And dude, every time that ugly bear would jump out, I was like, nope, I can't do this.
Nuh-uh.
So even, like, when I watch people on Twitch and all that, and they're playing that game, like, after that first or second jump scare, I turn the channel because I just can't do it.
You can't even watch it, huh?
I can't even watch it, but that talked about that scene with Resident Evil and those dogs jumping out. It was my first night hanging out with a friend. We were playing the PlayStation, right? It's been the first PlayStation, right?
I want to say, yeah. No, yeah, it is first PlayStation, yes.
And we were playing that game.
PSX.
We had all the lights off. And then that scene happened, and we turned on every light in the house and all that stuff, dude. So that is a classic scene, and I have to say that should be on that list, man, of, like, scary scenes that stick with your head and all that.
I believe it is, like, going over the 13 frightening moment, and maybe I'll wait until Matt gets here for us to do that. But I believe that is going to be that's going to be the case.
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
I gotta agree with you and all that stuff. It should be on there at least, but. I just want to call in and tell you, as always, you guys do a great job at News Talk. You guys are doing a great job at Blue Water. And, bro, you just keep up the great work, okay?
Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, dude. Nice talking to you. Bye.
See ya. Bye. Yeah, it's good hearing from Leonard. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Lethal Migraine mentions that the ghost game that's Phantasmophobia, I think is what it's called. Yeah. That seems like that would be kind of a different, because you can co-op that game and you're both trying to hunt ghosts, and I still wouldn't do it. Yeah, just not going to be for me. Some of these things mention Outlast. That was not, I loved the concept of Outlast, where you have a camera that has night vision, and that's mostly how you can see in the dark is through that camera. So I love the way that works. And what I really like doing, and this is kind of going deep in the weeds here, but I really like to unravel the psychology of horror, in media, mostly film and video games. Film, it's a little bit easier. Video games, I think it's a little tougher because video games force you to be in that situation. Movies have to somehow get you immersed into what you're seeing, even though you have no control over what's happening. In video games, you have control over what's happening. You have control over, I can continue to go down this hallway or I can go somewhere else, unless, of course, the game is one of those that we call on rails. When we say a game is on rails, there's two definitions of that, but when we say a game is linear, doesn't allow you to explore. You are going on one set path from A to B to C to D, and there is no variation there. You're not allowed to explore or go to different rooms or to go to different areas. You are going there. That can also be considered on rails in a sense that you are just constantly moving from one point to the next without kind of seeing anything else that's going on. It's whatever's going to be in front of you. games, there are certain games, fear comes to mind first. That was a game that we had played. Again, James was playing, I think. Actually, no, we all played this one. And the one thing that we hated about it is the way that you didn't have control of the camera whenever you walked up a ladder or through a door. There were animations that would take over anytime you were going up a ladder. So when you go up a ladder and get to the top, an animation would take over where your character climbs off the ladder, looking down and looking up and doing a turn and everything else. It is all animated. It's all something that you cannot control. You have no longer control of the camera. So suddenly you're at the whim of the game to scare the hell out of you. Throw something right in your face, which is called a jump scare. Right at the whatever time it is. Going through a door, it's an animation. Going up a ladder, it's an animation. And so you have no more control over the camera. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that interests me. When I talked about Outlast, where you have the camera to see in the dark, well, it limits your vision. Your vision's already limited because it's dark, right? But when you put the camera up, suddenly your vision is even more so limited, and you only have night vision. There is that feeling of confinement, a feeling of, I do not have my complete freedom here. Something is cut off from me, and that makes it a little bit more tense, I suppose. Lethal Migraine's talking about The Shining, all about isolation. Alien isolation is another way that the horror works. It is you and you alone, and you have to hide from the thing. That's another thing. You don't know the unpredictability of thing. In movies, it's scripted. In video games, I guess it's also scripted, coded, I guess. But a sense of, if I am under the table, will it look under this table? How does it know which way to do that? The other interesting thing in video games is that we can look at those pathways. We can kind of break that down and get into the code of the game to see how the enemy moves. If you want to do that, it's kind of breaking it. But it's interesting to know how they can randomize the enemy to come and find you or to react to things that you're doing. But it's all a video game. And I don't know. It's interesting. I've always found it interesting how to do that with, not only with a camera, but with a video game as well. So, is Matt here? I can't tell if he's here yet or not. Hopefully he would send me a message. In fact, let me tell him, let me know when you are here. That way I can take a break and let him in. So, what else do we have? The Atari E.T. game. Batman Brian says, the Atari E.T. game. Yes, I actually bought it back in the day. It would creep me out from the sound of E.T.'s spaceship made. I don't know what the sound E.T.'s spaceship made, but that was not one. An early game. Let me think of an early game that was kind of scary, and I'm drawing a blank. A Seventh Guest I played way back when. I can't even give you a year on that. I could look that up, but it was probably in the early to mid 90s, or maybe mid 90s easily, 96, 95 maybe, for the Seventh Guest. It was on PC. It was one of those FMV type things where they took actual actors, filmed them, and then put their cutouts in different settings and had them move around in that area. So it looked kind of real, even though the set itself was this computer-generated thing that did not look real whatsoever. But you got some creepiness out of it. It was more of a scary comedy type thing. There was not real horror to say. Maybe The 11th Hour, which was the sequel, had a little bit more of a horror aspect to it. But that's a game I don't think I ever finished because my computer couldn't handle the upgrade that they had put in the game. 5 discs. When I say disc, I mean CD-ROMs. 5 CD-ROMs to get that thing going. And I think I couldn't get it to run. So it was an early game. Ben Bryan says, I think it was one of the first CD-ROM games, very early in that medium. And, kind of cemented itself as, not only a classic, but, just historic in that regard. So yeah, what else? Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's Matt. Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get set up I'll get him set up. We're going to go to a break here, and we'll get Matt in here, and we'll talk more horror games. And you feel free to join us on Discord or call in and let us know about yours. We'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat in just a moment. Yeah, I've used music from the Seventh Guest, not this season for Halloween, but I have used music for Seventh Guest in previous Halloween episodes. This next track is an odd one. Not really odd. It's odd from where it came from. It's Call of Duty, but it's not the zombie modes. Call of Duty World at War. The main theme is a very horrific sounding main theme. Very spooky-ish, it's got a horror type sound to it if you put it in that context in your brain. This one is from World at War. You're walking through one of the Nazi castles there that is completely been abandoned. But man, they make it horrifying. So that's what this track is. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat in just a few. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. This is music from 999. Puzzle game, I think. The track is called Trepidation, is the name of the track. So, welcome back to the show. We had to do a real quick change and setup and everything else, and we've got Matt joining us. Thank you so much for coming in, man.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, is that your mic? That is your mic, right?
That's my mic.
That's your mic. That is your mic. There you go.
All right. Hey, everybody.
Just making sure it was you. Boy. So we started off, I kind of want to jump back to the subject there, but I mean, it's been a while. I tell you what, we'll do what we've been playing later. We were talking about, you probably were listening on the way in.
A little bit, yeah.
Horror games.
Yep.
I've got a list here of moments in games.
I know you mentioned, 11th Guest and, what was the first one?
The 7th Guest, 11th Hour.
11th,
yeah. Yep.
Did you mention Phantasmagoria?
We did mention Phantasmagoria.
That was a classic.
Yep. Well,
and it was bad but good, but bad.
Did we mention Okay, what's the one that's out now where you're like hunting a ghost or
That's
Phantasmophobia?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We did not mention Goria. We mentioned Phantasmophobia.
Okay, Phantasmagoria was a FMV game from Sierra.
It was one that I've told the story before. It was one I wanted after 7th Guest and whatever else. It was in the...
That was one of those like 7 discs.
Right. Yeah, I would walk into the electronics boutique. It wasn't EB at the time. We didn't initialize things back then. No. It was electronics boutique, And walked into there, and of course I would go to the PC section because I did not have whatever the console of the day was to...
I used to work there.
Yeah, the one in the mall.
Yep.
So I didn't have the console and stuff. I was strictly playing on my father's 486 DX40 or 386, whatever it was. I mean,
kids these days have no idea what those numbers mean.
At the time, I didn't know what those numbers meant. Also, I'm so grateful that we don't have to go back to those numbers anymore. I mean, it's still kind of, the i7 3770 and all these other different things.
Yeah.
You've got it's numbers galore. But so anyway, I would go in there and I'd go back to the PC section, which at that time was massive compared to what, you'd go to the console wall and it was over in the corner.
Yeah.
The PC wall was
most of the store.
Most of the store there. And then
the center point.
Yeah. And so I would go over there and I'd look for something, and man, Phantasmagoria was just drawing me in, but there was no way I could pull that box and take it to my mom or my father and say, will you buy me this? And then look at the front of the box and
Black
think...
and white photo, the lady in the dress with the red blood stripe
exactly.
across.
Wasn't happening.
Yeah, that was...
Was not happening. Seventh Guest was, an old house on a hill with lightning, and they're like, oh, yeah, creepy game. There we go. He's fine with that. Phantasmagoria, woman in a dress with blood on it. Nah, we're not buying this. So
the sequel was even, I think, a little bit more. So
could have been.
Puzzle of Flesh. It had a guy just ripping his chest open.
Oh, even worse.
Yeah.
Again, probably.
I remember that.
I don't know. The parents probably would have been like, "Oh, that's fine." It was, The woman though, no. Guy ripping his chest open. That's pretty. That's okay. Let's see. Going over this list here, they mentioned the head crabs from Half-Life. Being one of those moments that kind of stick in your head whenever you first saw those.
Yeah.
The twins from Outlast. I'm not familiar with them, but in Outlast there were twins. Trying to see two cannibalistic brothers stalking you around every corner of the mental asylum.
Okay. I know what game they're talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where you had the camera.
Like the green screen night vision.
Yeah, because you had a night vision camera, and that was really the only way to see in the dark.
Yeah.
The Janitor from Little Nightmares, which is a game I still haven't played and I really need to. I've got it on a couple of different systems now. But yeah, let's see. Bubblehead Nurses in Silent Hill 2.
Okay, yeah.
The Witch in Left 4 Dead. Yeah, that was good for once, and then after that it wasn't even scary.
It was more just like, crap.
It was annoying, yeah. It was one of those things where it's like, hey, we got to be really quiet. So it built tension.
Yes.
But it was not anything that was... maybe in solo play it was a little worse, but I rarely touched that game in solo play.
No, because you can't trust the AI to help you.
Nope. Monster Ock from Spider-Man in 2000. I don't know what that... I am not familiar with that.
The Spider-Man 2000, I guess Dr. Ock turned monster?
He looks like... Well, it looks like Carnage, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Clickers from The Last of Us.
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't... Again,
suspenseful.
They acted more like the Witch situation where it's like, I don't want to be seen, so let's... I was talking about this during the beginning of the show, like, what qualifies as a horror game? And I'm like, Last of Us being on a list of horror games, I don't know if it fits there because, it's got some, like... I don't even know if it's got horror elements to it. It's more of just a stealthy thing.
I think the horror would be the other people.
But even then, it's not...
that whole cliche of like the humans are the real monsters.
Right, yeah. But it didn't elicit fear for me, other than the fact that it elicited tension because I was trying to be quiet and stealthy and not get caught. Yeah. But I never felt any kind of like horror type of situation while playing it. So yeah, they mentioned Last of Us there. Let's see. Thief Deadly Shadows, the Shale Bridge Cradle.
Okay.
That I'm not familiar with. It's in the third Thief game. For so much of the game, it's this ominous building you pass by on your way elsewhere in the city. You hear rumors about it, you hear its name muttered in fear until it already possesses a sense of terror before you ever need to go inside. When you do, it's much worse than you could have ever imagined. This section of Thief, which was done by some of the people who worked on Dishonored, is a masterpiece of environmental storytelling. Yes, there are awful, shuffling creatures to be feverishly hidden from among its dark, cruel corridors, and yes, they scare the bejesus out of me, but they're not the true horror of the level. The real menace that makes this a level you can never shake from your consciousness is the building's history. You know that at one point, Shale Bridge Cradle was once a sanatorium for the clinically insane. You also know that at one point, the Cradle was once an orphanage. What you learn as you play, and for goodness sakes, if you haven't, stop reading now and go play it, is that the two things happened at the same time. This moment of realization is so brutal as you put together that those poor children were living in permanent fear of the murderous, dangerous patients, all while cruel doctors performed experiments, and well, there's a witch too. This catastrophic moment rewrites your entire understanding of the place and makes the rest of the already terrifying section feel so much worse. It's bad enough that as my muscles lock up as I try to evade a shambling masked monstrosity leaning into my monitor as if that makes me smaller and less likely to be spotted. But it's the whole other level of awful when you hear the ghostly, fearful voices of the long-dead child inhabitants of this terrible place. Wow. That's a write-up.
I know in the original Thief there was a level that was also in a sanatorium, an asylum, that was very heavily inspired by the book House of Leaves.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Dead Space had some, not really, asylum type stuff, but I know Dead Space had some.
Especially, I think, 2 with.
Was it 2?
With the cult.
Yeah. Oh, 2 did have the cult. You're right. Yeah. Let's see. From The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, there was the Hym Demon, Hym Demon.
Okay.
I don't remember that. Manhunt. Did you ever play Manhunt?
Yes.
Yeah. Pigsy is the name. Pigsy is absolutely horrific. A man who wears a rotted pig's head, a mask, and literally nothing else. Pigsy is the stuff of nightmares.
It was Rockstar.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to be Rockstar.
Subnautica? A manatee? I don't know.
I wouldn't call that horror. I mean...
Let's see. I didn't really know I had thalassophobia. What is thalassophobia?
Probably some fear of something underwater.
Maybe. I'm going to have to.
Drowning?
I got to look it up. I got to look up and see what thalassophobia is. And
fear of mermaids. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. It's bringing me something. It is the persistent and intense fear of deep bodies of water.
Okay, deep bodies of water. Yeah.
I don't have that. I have. Is it tryptophobia?
You're afraid of tripping?
No, it's not tripping. It's the ones with little tiny holes.
Oh, okay.
All over in clusters. Holes that are in clusters of groups.
Like a wasp, hive?
Wasp hive doesn't actually do it, but like the center of a sunflower with the seeds missing and stuff, that's anything like that. It gets to me.
I have coulrophobia.
Which one's that one?
Clowns.
Clowns, okay. Yeah. Speaking of, I have Terrifier and Terrifier 2 at home.
Have fun.
Yeah, I know. I haven't watched them yet. I haven't watched them just yet. Although I think he's considered a mime because he doesn't speak. But regardless, mime's kind of scary too.
Yeah, that's a type of clown.
The necromorphs in Dead Space.
Yes.
Sure. Oh, have you watched any of the gameplay of the?
I have.
Yeah.
I'm excited. At first, I mean, I knew that I was going to get it regardless because it's Dead Space. I love Dead Space.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, all right, a remaster, let's see what... But then I saw, how it's going, and I'm like, oh, this is looking...
Right, they're
really
doing
good.
the single camera shot, which is great. I've been replaying God of War in anticipation of Ragnarok, which comes out on the 9th. Did you pick that up on PC?
I do have God of War on PC.
Yeah, have you played it or no?
I've played a little bit of it.
Okay, gotcha. So a lot of talk had been brought up with Dead Space saying, hey, we're taking the God of War approach where the camera never cuts away. So you were constantly right there with, oh God, what's the main character's name?
Isaac, yeah. Clark.
Yeah, you were constantly with him the entire time. So I'm going back through just the beginning areas of God of War. And this is really even before you get to the main, exploration part. There's a fight scene at the very beginning
with the giant.
Not the giant.
Oh, okay.
But
is it before that or after that?
Well, see I don't know his name yet, but I do remember it from the first time I played, but I can't remember the name. He's only called the Stranger. It's the guy who knows who Kratos is, and he fights him right there. Kratos puts his son under the house. while old dude's coming. And there's this massive fight kind of introducing you to, like, here's how fights are going to go in this game. You're going to be thrown against rocks. You're going to be kicked halfway across the level. There's going to be these epic moments here of fighting with this dude. So I'm watching how the camera works, and what I noticed and what I kind of picked up on was this is not... Yes, it is a camera where there is no human operator, right? It's a camera that is floating in free space because that's how games are made. Mm-hmm. So it's following this track. But for whatever reason, there's a scene where this guy kicks Kratos. And I mean, he goes through some trees and a couple other things way across the map. They don't do a cut to them. They go from where he got kicked from, and then they move the camera to Kratos where he was. Instead of the camera just going over there, they added walking. In other words, suddenly...
Like it's bobbing.
Right. Suddenly what I realized was, like, it made it feel like there is a dude in a camera who is filming this whole thing, and he's running to get the shot over there to him. Okay. And I thought, wait a second, this is interesting. And now I'm going to try and keep an eye out for more of this to see, is this something that they tried to do where it puts you in that sort of, you get that feeling of like, oh, I'm there.
You are the camera operator.
Right, I'm there because the camera was moving as though I was running to catch up to the action, not floating over there to it. It's a little tweak, and I'm very curious if that's something that they put in there, or it's only because it's in there because this is the way things move in game, I guess. I don't know. Like they just took a character camera and made that be, attach that to Kratos, move when it needs to, that sort of thing. I don't know. I'm curious, but... Yeah, that's how it, that was something that I was thinking of. So, anyway, Dead Space. The fact that you can explore the Ishimura over and over and over again. You can go through it, and then you can go back, you can retrace your steps, you can explore, you don't have to go through any loading screens, but the fact that they have somehow coded this thing so that while you go through one room and empty out the enemies, if you turn around and go back through that room, it doesn't reset the enemies to where they need to be. It randomizes how they're going to show up again. In other words, no two visits through the room are going to be the same.
They might be coming from the ceiling or the wall.
No 3 visits through the room. No 4 visits through the room. Doesn't matter. Any room that you go into can have randomly distributed monsters. One of the things I took solace in my horror games is that once I'm done with this area,
clear this room,
I don't have to worry about it again. It's a safe place for me. Not so in Dead Space.
Oh, jeez.
It will not be that way in Dead Space. So, I think that is, that's it. That was the 15 out of 15 things that they were talking about with some of the horror games. So. We're coming up on the top of the hour here, but I wanted to get your, speaking of horror games, we were talking about Resident Evil. You saw the Resident Evil 4 remake?
Yes.
Exactly. What do you think about that? Have you played any of the remakes? You have?
Oh, yeah. So I did 4 on the Quest, the VR.
Oh, the VR aspect of it. Yeah. Is that the first time you played Resident Evil 4?
No,
okay, I figured you had.
I had it on the GameCube when it first came out. GameCube.
GameCube, yeah, and then it came out on the Wii.
And because the GameCube actually they had that chainsaw
controller. Yeah, I remember that.
But no, I played it originally when it first came out on the GameCube, and then they did a PC port of it, and it wasn't as stable. The original PC port, I remember that. But I've done it through, I picked up again. I played it earlier this year when I was in Jersey on the VR, and I beat the game actually a couple times going through on VR.
You took your whole VR set up to New Jersey?
I bought a Quest 2 when I was there.
Oh, okay.
Because I had the Rift on my computer. And while I was there, I was like, well, I'm kind of bored in my hotel room.
Well, hey. And so you got a Quest 2 now.
I do.
All right.
I have both. I have a Rift S and a Quest 2.
Okay. Did we ever set it up so that we could do the whole thing?
We did.
Did we? Okay, we did. Good. I don't remember that. God, how long has that been, man?
It's been about that
long. How long has it been since you've been on the show?
It's been. I've been busy.
Yeah, well, at least in studio. I know you've popped in on phones and stuff like that, but...
But yeah, so I've done the Resident Evil, and this I'm excited about. I will give this a shot, even though I played the game, but it looks different. It reminds me more of when they did the GameCube Resident Evil 1 remake. How, it just kind of changed the entire feel of the game.
Yeah.
So, and they added like new layers, and I mean new parts of the levels and stuff. And Lisa was added, Lisa Spencer. So, I will definitely pick it up because it's Resident Evil, and that's just how I roll.
That's just how I roll.
I mean, they just now came out with the Village DLC.
Mm-hmm. Winter or something?
Yeah. Rose, Winter.
I can't remember what it's called. Winterland
yeah.
or Winter something. I don't know.
And I'll probably pick that up as well.
That's on PC, I guess, is where you're playing that. Where are you on consoles right now?
I have a Steam Deck.
Yeah, but I mean, so no consoles. You're not.
I mean, I got my Switch, but I don't do much with it. I don't have the PlayStation 5, and I see no point in the Xbox.
I understand. It's fine.
I mean, with Game Pass, if I need a game there. And
do you have Game Pass on PC or no? You let it come and go?
It depends. Like if there's something. I did pick up that new Disney game, the
Dreamlight Valley. Yeah,
so
I know.
I'm going to start that. But with the
Switch or PC, or what would you do? Switch, PC. Yeah,
yeah. But with these Sony games coming out on PC, everything that I've been wanting to play eventually comes out there. So like I've got the God of War, I've got Horizon, I've got Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm playing through Spider-Man on my Steam Deck, on a lunch break.
I know. I've kind of regretted that I passed up on the Steam Deck.
I got the dock as well, and so like
that's right, yeah.
During lunch, we'll at work we'll put on my Steam Deck and we'll do keep talking, and nobody explodes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And like people come in like we're team building.
No, it's not it's yeah. No, I enjoy that game. So yeah, we're at the top of the hour here.
Yes.
Got to take a break. I know it moves fast, and we're going to come back and probably continue the conversation on some horror stuff. Spooky games. We got some news, and I think I sent you the news there, but we've got some news. There's not a whole bunch to go over, but we've got some stuff here to talk about. We'll be right back with more of in-game chat in just a moment. This track comes from you, a Team Fortress 2 guy.
I played it back in the day.
Yeah, this is called Right Behind You.
Okay.
I don't remember this track in the game, and oddly enough, in the years we've been doing these Halloween shows, I never come across this before, but it works. We'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Any idea what this is?
This is Resident Evil?
It is, yeah. Can you give me any more context? You should.
Is it 4?
It is 4, yeah, exactly. It's called Infiltration is the name of this track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good soundtracks. I've found some really good soundtracks going into the Halloween stuff here.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the show, continuing our discussion of horror games and maybe what makes a horror game or how does it all kind of work and that sort of thing. Have you played anything recent that is considered, I guess, a horror type title?
Nothing's popping out.
I'm trying to think.
Really?
I mean, nothing for me either, depending on how you know, I don't consider a game like Castlevania as a horror game, even though it has those elements of like you're fighting Dracula, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes me think like Vampire Survivors. I don't know if you played that. You should look into that. It's really fun. It's only like $4 on Steam.
Okay.
And will work wonders on the Steam Deck.
Okay.
Because it is very low. It's a low res type thing, and basically it's reverse bullet hell.
Ah.
You're the one dishing out the bullets while you have all these enemies coming at you. So it's a lot of fun, and the matches or the play time is 30 minutes tops. At 30 minutes, you've either finished or you're dead. So either you die before then, or at 30 minutes, this boss comes in that you can try and kill, but you really can't. Not until much, much later in the game when you've acquired enough level ups and all these other different things to kind of put some defense in, which is fine. You only need to make it to 30 minutes to really move ahead to progress. So something to look at.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it on mine. It's on my PC, and I don't think it's yet on console, but I bet it'll make it to Switch at least. It would run easily on the Switch, and it's got that portability for it. I think it's great. So look into that. Also, not a horror game, although it deals with zombies
Vampires
and werewolves and all these different things, but it has nothing. It has nothing to do with that or give you that sort of horror feel to it.
So, I didn't catch all of the first act of the show.
Oh, well, I mean, we just opened up talking about, talking about scary games, the fact that I don't really play them.
Yeah.
I like to watch people play them.
There has been a just floodgate of Silent Hill stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Like, so much like, apparently we're getting a new movie.
Well, that's the reason, we always wondered what Konami was doing, because it's like they held on to this. They were so, hey, Kojima, don't touch our stuff, or hey, we're getting out of the games business, but we're going to hold on to these licenses. Mm-hmm. Why?
Yeah.
You could sell those, but they didn't, and they held on to them, and now we're getting a Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yeah.
Silent Hill...
There's like multiple different...
F or whatever that note...
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Silent Hill something, I can't remember. But it is a massive amount of Silent Hill games.
Yeah, like, are they mobile games? Are they console games? Are they, like, I don't know what exactly all of it is.
Right.
I did see that we're getting a movie by the director of the first Silent Hill movie.
Yeah, we've got...
so he'll be back, which is good.
Silent Hill Townfall is a game. We're getting Return to Silent Hill, which is the film.
Yeah.
And then the Silent Hill Ascension.
Okay, yeah, I remember seeing that name.
It is what they call it is a live real-time interactive series that sounds akin to Until Dawn. Is that one. And then Silent Hill, it says F, but I don't think it's F. I think it's Fugue.
Maybe.
Because it looked that the...
It's like a note or
the
something.
the F looks like something you would see in music.
Yes.
That's why, and I could be completely wrong. Somebody who knows music would be able to tell me what the F is in music. Yeah, I know what I said. So yeah, I'm curious myself.
Yeah,
I don't know it enough to know those things, but somebody does, and will probably fill us in.
Yeah, but the fact that we're getting all these new, these Silent Hills come out, I'm excited for, because that game was just...
Haven't really played. I tried to play Silent Hill 2 on the Xbox when it got announced for Xbox, and they were going to start with Silent Hill 2. That was a big deal because so far Silent Hill 2 was PlayStation only type things.
Yeah.
And then here it is on Xbox, and I'm like, ooh, I get a chance to play it because I don't have a PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't, I played a little bit of it and was not all that.
The second one was definitely, it was more emotional than the first one. The first one was a different feel.
Oddly enough, the one that I liked, which is probably the one that people would...
It 3?
No, it wasn't 3. It was
Room?
the one where everything was iced over.
Oh, on the PSP.
Was that
Shattered Memories.
Shattered Memories, yeah.
That was a good one.
Because I played that at E3.
That was kind of like a soft remake of the original Silent Hill.
Really?
From what I remember. If I'm remembering it correctly, it was like a soft remake.
I just like the way
played through with memories.
Yeah, I like the way the gameplay worked with that and how it fit together and everything. That was great. I remember that was the year I was at E3 and I got a chance to play Silent Hill Shattered Memories and then saw the video game as well. I played both of those at Konami's booth that year. I say it was E3. It might have been PAX, but I think it was E3. But yeah, I played both of those there for that. Silent Hill Shattered Memories, though, I think that was not on the PSP that I was playing it on. I think it was on a console.
I think they also came out on the Wii. I believe.
Yeah, I think it did. Maybe that's the maybe I may have played it on the Wii then.
But I remember I had it on the PSP.
Yeah, I may have played it on the Wii. Wendy sends me a thing, says that F is for forte, which means loud or strong.
Yes.
So. But did you watch the whatever, I call it a trailer, but did you watch that for Silent Hill F?
I didn't for Silent Hill F. I watched the video for the movie Return to Silent Hill, where the director was talking about it and everything. And I enjoyed the first Silent Hill movie.
Get a chance to, if you get a chance, watch that trailer for Silent Hill, because it absolutely, obviously puts in more questions than it does any kind of answers. Okay. It's the weirdest looking thing as far as what's going on. You really have no concept of something other than this growth. I don't know. Flowery growth thing.
Okay.
It's interesting. Yeah, like a fungus has taken over, but not like the clickers and stuff from Last of Us. Interesting thing. None of it screams Silent Hill to me, though.
Silent Hill was always, to me, it was like rusted.
Mm-hmm.
The original, like, I remember playing that. And,
abandoned.
Yeah.
Rusted, like you said.
Yeah.
Foggy.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all the limitation of the systems at the time.
Which is, I know they wrote it into the thing.
To it, which I think was a good way of using the limited tech for for your advantage.
Yeah, I was explaining that to Wendy. We were playing something, I think we were watching something, and I said it's interesting because instead of trying to, I can't remember what it was we were watching or looking at, but I said, okay, instead of letting that limit their abilities, they just wrote it into the story.
Like Resident Evil handled it a different way, because in Resident Evil you're in a claustrophobic, house.
Yeah.
So you had walls to limit the draw distance and everything. So like that's how they handled it. They put it indoors.
Right. With Assassin's Creed, you couldn't go
outdoors,
into
Then and there's like PlayStation 1 days. So with the limitation of it being outdoors, it's like, you know what? It's foggy.
Right. Didn't they try to do that with like Superman 64?
They tried to do it.
They tried to do it. Yeah, I know. Superman 64 is a completely horrible thing. But
that's a scary game.
Yeah, but in Assassin's Creed, you couldn't go beyond
certain areas because
it's like
glitch out.
Your memory is limited. Yeah. Well, no, the console's memory can't handle it.
We can't write that much to
I know. Yeah. So they just wrote it into the game, which I thought was interesting. And I can't remember what we were watching or seeing. I don't know if it was game related or something, but I was mentioning that it was written in that way, that it was, so they used it as a story effect rather than
which I think is brilliant.
Limitation. If you can do that, yeah. I mean, anything that can help the story that way. I think it's a great idea. So I'm trying to think of anything that's horror that I've played recently. No, Scorn is something I'm kind of interested in, but I don't
looked at it, but like it just, I don't know.
I don't get a sense of horror from it.
Yeah, I just get a sense of just dread and just
despair.
Despair. Just the weight on you of like, oh yeah, I'm in a Giger world of just
because that was all fun and rainbows, wasn't it?
Yeah, it did. And I've seen some people play through it, like some videos of that.
By the way, this is how my brain works. Things pop in there.
Yeah.
You were talking about you picked up Dreamlight Valley.
Yes.
Have you played any of it or no?
I just started it up and got to talking to Merlin.
How long ago was that?
like 2 days ago.
Oh, okay, because the Halloween event's going on
Oh, okay.
in Dreamlight Valley. What the Halloween event is, I don't know.
I wonder if you can
I
get
just
it
know
wrong.
it's the Halloween event. Probably not. That's a little bit of a mix. Now, City of Heroes,
That was funny.
That was good.
I got a rock.
I know. You could go around and do that. Destiny, by the way, is doing their Halloween thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know. It's just grind. It's like, hey, we know you've been grinding so far for 2 months. Here's more grind.
2 months. How many years?
Well, I mean, for the season. But you're exactly right. I should say that. We know you've been grinding
We've
for
been
years. Here's more
grinding
grind.
for almost a decade.
But that's really what it's called. Grind the game.
Yeah.
Is really just grind grind harder. It's really just all you're doing. It's just continuing to do the same things.
yeah.
Ah, boy. It's like, when will I ever stop? Won't. So, yeah. Let's see. Anything else that's been horror?
Yeah, I can't really think of anything scary
I know.
horror that I played lately.
Because I just don't touch those things.
mean,
Leonard
other
called
than,
in and mentioned Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know. See if RJ was here. He loves that.
Yeah. I mean, I redid a little bit of Resident Evil 8, The Village.
You played Amnesia, right?
Back in the day.
Nothing you would ever do today.
No. I mean, would you consider, like, I wouldn't say horror, but like The Room? Like The Room VR? You did that one, right?
Yeah.
That's not necessarily horror.
It's not, but it freaks me out.
But it's suspenseful, and that's more of a gothic horror than an actual...
I'm okay with it, but
yeah.
No. So I fired that up. I remember that, and I really want to go back to it because I just recently updated the Quest 2, moved my email over to a Meta account, all this other, did everything I had to do to update and redo whatever. It had been forever since I've done that.
I was saying, is that something we have to do now? I think I might have.
How long has it been since you've used it?
It's been several months.
Okay, yeah, you're going to have a lot to go through when you do it because you're going to have to download an update for the system. Then you're going to have to re-log in through either using your Facebook or, now they give you a choice, you don't have to connect it to Facebook anymore.
Oh, good.
You can, but you will have, if you don't use Facebook, you'll have to create a Meta account, just like you would have to create any other, you'd have to create a Steam account to use Steam. You'll have to create a Meta account to use their store. So yeah, they've got that going on. And so I was doing this because Wendy was looking for some scary stuff. She wanted some scary stuff to play. She had heard about some Eli Roth thing that was on there. And we looked it up, and it's basically just a video that you put the headset on, it's a 360 video, and you can look around as things are going on and playing. Kind of like any other sort of VR event where you're sitting on a roller coaster or you're in a city walking through something and you have free roam to look around. It's basically the same thing, but in like a horror setting.
There's a VR game that I kind of want to get. It's the VR version of Layers of Fear.
Is there a VR version of Lair?
There is.
Is it on that? But is there? It's Quest or is it Rift or whatever the other one is?
I don't know if it's.
I haven't seen it in the
Steam
store.
or if it's Quest.
It must be Steam.
But I've
then.
seen it.
Yeah.
And because I played through Layers of Fear, and it was spooky.
I like Layers of Fear.
I didn't do the sequel yet.
Yeah, I watched that get played through, or not all the way played through.
That Layers of Fear gave me that creepy, man, do I want to move forward?
But I never got any kind of jump scares out of it.
I wouldn't say.
I did get
There was
sense.
foreboding. There was definitely like a sense of foreboding.
I had a sense. It gave me a sense that something's down the hallway, but I don't know what it is, or something just moved that picture, or something just shut that door.
I mean, it's not like Amnesia where you have the monster chasing you.
Yeah, no, nothing like that.
This is just, you feel like there's something here. I don't know what it is. The room's changing, and it's kind of it's disturbing.
It felt like puzzle horror,
and I liked it.
which I like puzzle horror.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
But I don't know. Maybe doing that in VR, that might be
might
be something right there.
Yeah, the room on VR was.
That was a good one.
I didn't get very far into it.
Really?
Well, because
it's short.
I know that's my problem. That's why it was. It's like when you have the last few M&Ms in a bag and you sort of just savor them before they're gone. So that's what I've been doing is like I'll play just a tiny bit of it, and I really haven't gone back to it because I know it's not very long.
It's really even room standards.
I know it's
short.
But I don't have any more room to play when I'm done.
Did you do Old Sins?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just picked that one up. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I've done that one.
That's what 4.
Yeah, I think it's 4. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm on 3 right now, and I'm just sort of trapped. Like just stuck in one area.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you know how it is, like, if you put it away for a while, you get back to it, you're like, what was I doing?
I know.
What was the purpose of this room?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Yep.
You know, like, what all I've done already. So I might just have to restart 3.
Thar66 reminds us that Bloober, who made Layers of Fear, are making
Silent Hill, yeah.
I think they're doing. Are they doing the remake, or are they doing the actual new Silent Hill? I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's.
Yeah, Layers of Fear is good. You might want to check it out in VR. Do you have Steam VR or just the?
I only have the.
Meta?
You know what? I've got a Vive, so I kind of have Steam VR, but it's old.
Okay.
You know, and it takes so much connection.
Mm-hmm.
I have to rewire so many things just to get that Vive going.
Gotcha.
I think I've already disabled the
drivers and everything.
No, the monitors
cameras,
that go into the corners of the room. I think I've
the old
disabled those
sensors.
because I haven't used them.
Yeah.
I also have an Oculus Rift Gen 1.
Yeah.
But haven't done anything, obviously, with that. The MetaQuest is really where it's at, and I haven't really moved on from there. And then, of course, PSVR that's coming out next year.
Yeah.
I think next year, or maybe in springtime, actually, because they've shown off a lot for that. So.
I remember for the original PSVR doing Resident Evil 7.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And that...
The Biohazard, yeah, the first one. Not the whatever, was it 8 now? Did 8 have a subtitle or no?
Village,
yeah. So Resident Evil 7 did have VR aspect. Did Village came with a VR aspect or no? No, because it's on PlayStation, so it wouldn't. But it's also on PC though, so I'm sure I was curious if it didn't.
Nope.
Aren't they making it though? They are making one for PSVR. They're doing a Resident Evil section, I think, for VR.
I don't know anything about that. I know, like, one of the last games that didn't have VR that they sort of grafted it into it was the Hitman 3 on PC. And it's wonky.
Let's see. Capcom may release Resident Evil Village getting VR support for PlayStation VR.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Whenever that comes around. They may release VR for Village on PC as well. VR support could be headed to Resident Evil Village on PC. This was reported 8 hours ago.
Oh, wow.
That's what we're talking. Apparently we can talk things into existence now, which is nice to know. Yeah, not a lot. I remember us playing Condemned. I liked that.
Well, yeah.
But I liked it because I wasn't playing it.
Playing that game, though.
Especially when you got to the mannequin room.
That was just... And they just all start moving around.
I know, it was really creepy.
Nope,
I know. And James had to play it. That was great. It was not something that we were going to do, man. Not at all. Did we do any others in that sense? I think we just did that one, and that was it.
Yeah. I tried the Condemned 2, and
it... we didn't do Condemned 2. Condemned 1 was good enough for us, and it was great.
The original Fear.
That's one we all played, but not together.
That one, yeah.
We talked about it, though, because that was something I mentioned in the first... that was something I mentioned in the first half of the show when you were driving here, was the fact that I was talking about mechanics of horror. Mm-hmm. And in a video game, you control the character, and therefore you control if you're going to get scared or not, because maybe you know something's behind that door, and so just don't open the door. You may not progress, but you just don't open the door.
Yeah.
And it never happens. The interesting thing about Fear, and I think it may have been used in previous games, but it was one that just would tighten up every muscle in your body every time it happened. It only happened for a few seconds so the animation could play out. When you opened a door, or when you climbed the ladder and were getting off the ladder, an animation would play. You would not be in control, so the camera would move in the maneuver of a person getting off a ladder, looking down, turning around, getting up. If you were going down a ladder, the camera would pan down, turn around as your body was backing down the ladder, and then lift up as you're going down.
Yeah, and then like that one time when she was just up there. And
exactly.
Just like,
you had no control of that. It was just boom, right there, jump scare.
And there were other times in that game where she might be in like a corner or on a side.
Briefly.
And if you didn't turn the camera that way, there's a like, oh, did you see it? No, I didn't see that. And then like, you could miss entire parts of her just being in the ambiance around.
You know, it's something else that we haven't even brought up talking about horror games, but PT.
Oh yeah,
I-
I had that, and I did not.
Oops.
Yeah,
I didn't play it.
I still have it on my PS4.
I barely watched people play that. It was, first off, it looked amazing
It did.
for what it was
did.
doing.
Yeah.
And so anytime you can throw that kind of realism in me, in my video games, I'm like, okay. Especially when you're horror related. Have you seen that level in Modern Warfare 2, the recent one, the Amsterdam level?
No.
Okay.
I don't keep track with Modern Warfare.
You don't have to keep track. It's just the fact that this is one of those sections of the game where not a lot is going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's really, I don't think there's any kind of gunplay or anything. You're trying to be undercover.
Okay.
So they didn't really have to put a lot of effort into worrying about AI or worrying about shooting and cover mechanics or anything like that. So instead, they made it look amazingly realistic.
Oh wow.
This downtown area of Amsterdam, people
Do
are
you go
using
through, like the canals and
Yes.
Oh sweet.
the people are using these comparison
yeah,
shots
I've
of
been
like,
there.
here's the real one, here's the in-game one, and it looks amazing. For
Okay.
for a Call of Duty game, it looks fantastic. Although I will say, there was way back when they announced this Call of Duty game, people were analyzing the trailer and they were showing how water effects were working in this, and I was just, it was a water effect, but I was blown away, man. Watching water ripple off of a stair rail, a handrail on a stairway, you're seeing that, it looked great. And I mean, I'm gushing over a water effect, but
But that's immersion.
this is
into
not
a
the kind of
game.
detail I need in my COD games, you know?
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
But,
I'm just
I mean,
shooting things.
They could use that for other stuff. You know,
They
that's
can,
like
but it
for-
was just amazing the way it looked.
Yeah.
And that Amsterdam level, did I put that in? I guess I didn't put it in. I didn't put it in the thing, in the news stuff here. Otherwise, I would show you. But I'm sure somebody will throw. In fact, I'll look for a link during the break here,
Yeah.
and throw it into the chat room. But speaking of, we are at a break now, and we're going to take it. We'll be right back with more of in-game chat here in just a minute. This next track comes from Earthbound,
Okay.
which is odd that it would be a Halloween track, or at least something
Oh, no.
horrific. But this is a battle for, is it Giygas? Gygas?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was, wasn't that the name of a creator? Like,
If I remember, I think this is like towards the end, and this
Yeah.
is
anyway, that's what this is, the Gygas battle from Earthbound. We'll be right back with more of in-game chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from Halo. Lament for Private Jenkins is the name of the track.
I don't remember Private Jenkins.
Yeah, this is when you first...
like Flood?
Yeah, this is when you first come across the Flood. Which I hate the Flood. And I didn't hate them.
Kept on bringing them back.
Right. I didn't hate them because it was any kind of a scary element. I just hate them because they were annoying to deal with.
Yeah.
Half the time, these things that we talk about in horror games, like the whatever the monsters are called in Dead Space, whatever those things are called, I can't remember. I just had it pulled up on the screen, but I can't remember what they're called. They're more annoying than anything else.
Yeah,
because they just keep coming at you. You shoot them, and if you get rid of their legs, they still crawl with their hands. If you get rid of their hands, they're moving with their legs.
Necro something?
Yeah, necromorphs.
Necromorphs, yeah.
And that's what they are.
Yeah, and with the Flood, because I replayed the Master Chief Collection, and like that first Halo game, just once the Flood was introduced, after that I was just running from them.
Yeah,
you're not trying. You don't waste your ammo because it was an annoyance.
It is big annoyance. Hate them. I hate them because they are annoying, not because there's anything scary about them, but just because they are just really annoying. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to hit up here before we just kept talking about our horror games, our scary games? Scariest game you ever played?
I mean, for the time, I'd have to say Resident Evil, the original, because that was, I played it when it first came out. Like kids these days, they look at those graphics and like, this is lame.
I played it. The first time I played it was GameCube. The remake that they did on the GameCube.
That was a good remake.
Yeah.
But that game, when it first came out in mid-90s, I remember I was in college and, in the dorm room, and they had the PlayStation, and like we're all gathered around the small CRT TV. But like that was the first time we've really seen a scary game like that. I can't really think of anything, in the Super NES that had stuff, like that, or the NES, or not to that extent.
No, I don't remember any of those that would have.
Not like that.
Yeah.
And like you said, when the dogs crashed, we threw the controller. We're like, oh no, no. I mean, like, because seeing that for the first time, and that's the thing about horror is you can't really watch a horror movie a second time and be scared again,
right?
Because you've experienced it, I
mean, it kind of works for games too, I would guess.
Oh yeah,
in some way.
Completely with games. Like the first time I go through Resident Evil 7, I am like, oh, so cautious. I'm terrified because you don't know what's around the corner. Once you know,
now people are doing
around
speed
the
runs.
corner, yeah, you speed run. You're like, all right, this, that, done. So, but for me, Resident Evil, the very first one, because that was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that. I mean, Silent Hill, the original, that was terrifying for different reasons. But like, the Resident Evil is the very first of that.
Yeah.
So that would be for me.
I mean, I would probably agree with you in that, because only for the fact that I really don't play a lot of horror games, so I can't really give you an assessment of like what's the scariest horror game I played, because I don't play them.
Yeah.
The first one that I ever played was Seventh Guest. I can't remember being scared, but I'm sure that I was at that time with some parts of it. But I don't know that I would call it the scariest game I've ever played. I don't know. Five Nights at Freddy's is not a game I would ever play. I know how that game works, and I ain't down for that. Jump scares like that and timing where it's like, okay, it could happen at any moment, and I got to keep these things out of the room and shut these doors and that sort of thing. Not something I enjoyed in my scary games. So, or in any of my games. I would say it wasn't scary so much, but man, was it innovative, and it's Eternal Darkness on the GameCube.
That was great, because that one, like, psychological too.
Yeah,
that one messed with your mind.
It did, and I like games that do that. And that just takes you back to the Psycho Mantis fight.
Yep.
In Metal Gear Solid 2. Was it 2 or 1?
1.
Was it 1?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was 2. Why did I think it was 2?
2 is
Twin Snakes?
Yeah.
Yeah. But didn't they do one for the GameCube that was...
No. GameCube was Twin Snakes.
Yeah.
2 was Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty, that's right.
Where you play as Raiden.
Mm-hmm.
That was scary.
Yeah. But yeah, the Psycho Mantis fight. And games like that kind of like take over your controller or mess with your mind in that regard. RJ always brings up an X-Men game that he played, which is not a horror game, but there was something where you had to reset. You had to hit the reset button on the Genesis.
Yeah.
In order to get past the stage or whatever.
No. Like everything in your mind saying, don't do that because that you worked this hard. You don't want to reset it.
Yep. Exactly. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I have one of those, like, this is the scariest game I've ever played type thing, mainly because I just don't do the horror games.
Alien Isolation was very creepy.
Yeah, no, that's another one. I can't take the tension.
I
have a heart condition. I can't take the tension of hiding from
this thing, and it turns around and it grabs you.
I know. See, that's a game I would put on my PC and then download like a hack where you are just always invisible to the monster. So I would hide. I wouldn't have to worry about him finding me.
You turn the monster, the xenomorph, into Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, that's even worse. I don't want to do that either. Yeah, I've seen that. Well, there's
They did that. I've seen that with like the Resident Evil 2 remasters.
Right, because they did it for the Mr. X.
Yeah.
They turned him into Thomas the Tank Engine. But there is Choo Choo Charlie, which is...
Oh, yeah, the horror.
Yeah, it's a train with spider legs. It's like Thomas the Tank Engine, but he has spider legs, and it just constantly comes after you, which I think is probably something where they based it on a lot of what that was done through the Mr. X in the Resident Evil, turning him into Thomas the Tank Engine. So, possibly, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah. So, before we go, though, because, I mean, we got about 15 minutes left, what have you been playing? Anything that's...
Scuba diving.
I know scuba diving.
Honestly, like, Kevin's been... I don't think he'll come out and say it. I think he's mad at me because, like, I haven't really been
playing anything?
Anything, like, you know. What little I do, I picked up Uncharted 4, and I'm replaying that on the Steam Deck. And
is that from the Lost Legacy collection thing?
It is.
I heard that was not a good port for Sony. Like, one of their...
So far, Uncharted's great. I never played the second, the little DLC.
Lost Legacy.
Well, I didn't play Lost Legacy, so I don't know if that's bad. I don't know.
I never looked up the details, but out of all of their PC releases, when it goes to God of War and Horizon and Spider-Man, they've been really top notch on the tech and everything else.
Yeah, I did the Spider-Man. I'm waiting for Miles Morales.
Yeah, except for Uncharted. This Uncharted release, this bundle release that just recently released, has not. Apparently, there's some tech issues with it. But
I've seen some,
if you haven't run across them, you're good.
I have seen some graphical like glitches, like where textures didn't load right.
Yeah.
For some stuff, and I'm like, oh, is that Rust? Oh no, that's just bad graphic. But whatever.
Right.
What
have you upgraded your card, or what are you running on?
I haven't upgraded my card. I don't remember.
2080? What do you got?
I think a 2080. Yeah.
It still
should be fine.
I guess you're not going to be going up to the 4080s or the 4090s or anything like that. Good God, $1,500 for a graphics card.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
Or $1,000 for the low-end version of the graphics card. Let's go to the phones. Yeah. Hi, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
It's Chris, me again.
What's up, Chris?
Yeah, you were talking about the Alien Isolation. And,
yeah.
Even though I played through a little bit, I don't play it because of the effect that it has on your body, your nerves and everything. I cannot stand to play that sucker.
So
nope, I'm with you.
I remember on the PlayStation 4, because I had it on that, like the microphone in your controller, like it messes with you where, like the system will, like if you make noises, like just you going it'll hear that and it'll like the xenomorph will come for you. Like the game listens to you.
But there's not a. I didn't think there was a
microphone or the eye. If you had the eye,
maybe
it was one of them because I remember
something would have to pick up sound like that through a headset or whatever, and that's fine. But it could also also emit sound through the controller.
Yes,
which I thought was always interesting, especially when it's something like I know in Uncharted, a lot of the gun effects, like every time I would reload a gun and, cock the shotgun or something like that, you'd hear it out of the controller than you would in your surrounding.
In Deathloop, when you're talking on the radio, it comes to the controller.
I finally got that on PC. It came in with my Humble Bundle this month.
Okay.
So, yeah, I wanted to tell y'all one of the stories of one of the encounters with that son of a gun on that alien in that game. That
Isolation, yeah.
Yeah. One of the big areas in the beginning of the game when he first shows up, it was like a hangar where there's like a big, I think there's a big engine in there, and he came into one of the doors on the upper balcony, or maybe it was on the first floor, and I was hiding behind the corner of one of those couches or pieces of furniture at the very edge, and he walked right past that sucker, right beside me there, and I could have reached out and grabbed his tail. He was that close to me. Only inches away, and he did not see me. He walked right past me. Talk about giving me a heart attack.
Yeah.
That's again, I don't like that. I don't like my Five Nights. I don't like any of that sort of stalky play. I don't like the fact that Mr. X is in that Resident Evil game. I don't like that sort of thing. Like, let me deal with this on my own time. Do not rush me or push me through this sort of situation. I've never been a fan of games that do that. I appreciate the call, Chris. Thank you.
All right.
Take
Y'all
care.
have a good one. We'll see y'all later then.
See you, man. Yeah,
All
we're
right.
coming up on the top of the hour. Any of those, is it Supermassive? I think it's Supermassive. Any of those Supermassive games? The Dark Pictures Anthology?
No.
Until Dawn, did you play that?
I played a little bit of Until Dawn.
Little Hope?
I didn't do Quarry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quarry's the most recent one, which
Yeah.
it feels like an 80s slasher type thing or whatever, maybe a 90s slasher type thing, I'm not sure. But it really feels like a progression of Until Dawn, whereas all the others kind of felt like they were set, obviously, in the past type of thing and different.
I guess, so the game I have been playing lately that does have demon zombie ghosts in it is the demon zombie ghost LeChuck in Return to Monkey Island.
Oh, of course you have.
I've been
Of
doing that.
course you have. Yeah, of course.
got,
I forgot. September 19th, I think, is when that came out.
Yep, International Talk About the Pirate Day.
We used music from that game on that day, and I'm sure your name came up in the show, and we're like, I know who's probably playing that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yep, PC, got it on Steam Deck. I'm sure
Yes.
it runs fantastic on the Steam Deck.
Yes.
A great little portable title.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fantastic.
I'm loving my deck.
I'm sure you are. I'm trying to think of other games that have come out where it's like, oh yeah, this Matt would probably love this, and I'm trying to think of the other titles, but I can't think of anything at the moment for some reason. But yeah, it's been a while since you've been on, so it's really great to have you back.
It's great to be back.
I wish you could do more of it. I know that you can't, but I really wish you could.
Yeah.
As for me, like I said, I've just been playing Destiny. I did pick up Marvel Snap.
I haven't heard of that.
It's free to play. It's on Steam, and it's also on your mobile devices as well.
Okay.
Apparently, it's a card game,
Oh.
but I don't know. It's been getting a lot of talk recently about how easy it is to play and pick up and enjoy, and it doesn't really fumble around with everything else that card games mess around with.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I haven't played it to see if that's the case. But I did download that on Steam, and I'll probably give that a shot. Maybe tonight, actually. Sometime tonight. So currently building Legos as well. Working on the Saturn V rocket, or the Saturn V.
You got the Saturn V?
Yes, I have the Saturn rocket, and I'm almost done with that. I'll be done with it by Monday easily.
Last one I did the Orchid. I picked that one up.
I've done the Orchid.
I love the botanical series. It's one of my favorites.
I've done the Orchid, the Bonsai, and
the Bird of Paradise.
I have not done the Bird of Paradise, but I did
good.
do the. What is the other one? There was another. They
have
succulents.
Succulents. I have that one at work.
I did the succulents too.
So I'm sure, it's like for the, not to get into Legos too much.
No, I don't mind. I love Legos.
I mean, or as we should say, Lego, because that's the plural.
Right? Yeah.
I love how they use reuse pieces.
Yeah.
And the little mini orchid.
The frogs?
Well, the frogs were great too.
But the mini orchids had the...
they were the Demogorgon.
The Demogorgon, yeah.
Heads.
Exactly.
Just repainted. I saw that and I'm like, oh.
For the petals, yeah.
You know what? That's a great way of doing it.
Or for the little smaller... Oh, yeah, it was totally great.
The other one I have up in my office, I have Starry Night.
Okay, the Van Gogh painting,
Oh,
yeah.
it's amazing. People come in, they look at that like, oh my goodness, I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just picked up the Trench Run.
Okay, yeah.
Which normally, like, I like to go with, when I do Lego, I like to go with stuff that doesn't just scream Lego at first.
Right.
Like, the typewriter is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people look at that and they're like, oh my gosh, oh, it's Lego. I like that. Oh, it's Lego Factory.
Right, yeah.
The NES system, you know, that one's really neat. I want to get the Atari.
I do want to get the Atari as well.
But like the botanical series, you look at those and like, oh, that's
they're great.
Yeah. Oh, it's Lego.
They're great. They're great. Did you go with pink or green?
I change them out right now. It's pink.
Okay.
I'm doing the cherry blossoms right now.
Right. Yeah.
But so normally I don't go for like the Star Wars sets or the Harry Potter like the brand sets. It's normally not what I go for.
I'm just most of the stuff I go for is the ideas collection or the creator collections. Those are great.
But for this Death Star run, what I did was I saw a video from Adam Savage's group where they took the Death Star trench run and they have this other, like, it's a third party, it's not official Lego, it's like third party whatever, but it's like 2 biplanes and they're on and they just sort of like fly like
that.
Okay. It's
yeah.
like you have the crank and you turn it and he grafted them together where it's, you know, Luke's X-Wing and Vader and they're you know, and
they're moving back and forth,
and then he added lasers to it, like the lights. And I'm
have you seen the light mods for Lego sets?
So I have skylines of places that I've been. If I you know, through my travels in the military, if I've been to a city and they have the skyline for, I have it. So I have like Paris, London, Venice, New York, Vegas, and San Francisco.
And you've done the light mods for those?
And I have the light mod. So like it's all just
That's
flashing.
Really nice. That's really nice. Yeah.
I'll show you a picture after.
Wendy got me a couple of Lego sets for my birthday there. I got the Batman mask or cowl, I guess you want to call it. I got that. Not the 66 version.
I like that
Not
one.
the 66 version, just the regular black one, which is a lot of black for a Lego set. And then she got me the goat boat.
The goat boat?
From Thor, for Thor Love and Thunder.
I like the Mjolnir.
Oh, the actual item itself.
Yeah, because like that one, you know, and like the NES, they have Easter eggs in them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I like it when Lego does that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Legos that I want. The question mark block from Mario game related, I would like that.
That
but
one.
I'd like the Discovery, the Space Shuttle Discovery, to go with my ISS and my Saturn.
They have the lunar module at
Yes, they
Target.
do. I know they've got a lot of things at Target.
That.
I don't. Legos got expensive, by the way.
They did. Well, what surprised me about the Orchid, that was only $50.
It's still only $50, mostly. Yeah.
I mean, I spent like $200 on the Fender guitar.
I know the Bird of Paradise is $100.
Yeah. Oh, but it's so nice.
I mean, yeah, it is, but it's $100 for the Bird of Paradise, and then the $250, I think. Bowser is like $300 something.
Oh, but it looks so fantastic.
I know, but he's expensive, massively expensive for a Lego set. I hate how.
Yes.
I hate how expensive the Lego sets have gotten.
Yeah.
There's something horrific.
Yeah.
How much
Lego
money?
Prices.
Yeah, how much money you spend on Lego sets.
Every now and then I'll go on the ideas page and just see what see what people are voting on.
I know. I was so disappointed.
Some are like there's one that I really want that is a Polaroid camera where you click the button and the thing actually comes out. And they need to do that.
I'm sure that will probably make it. I don't know where it's at in the voting process.
But I like how if you come up with a really cool idea, then if you figure out a way to do it in Lego, then that might be something. I mean,
I know.
The typewriter was that. The NES was that. The some of these ideas are just fantastic.
I was looking forward to Fraser's apartment, but that did not. It got close, but it didn't make it.
Community made it.
Yeah.
So Greendale made it.
Oh yes. Okay.
So
neat.
I'm excited about that one.
Well, I mean, they made the Seinfeld set, they made the
Seinfeld,
Office set, they
Friends.
made the Friends set. It's
they
like
made 2 Friend sets.
yes, they did. The coffee in the
coffee
apartment.
in the apartment, yeah.
Like, give me my Frasier apartment, man. Just give me that. Give me that. But they
Tossed
won't
salad
do
and
it.
Scrambled eggs.
Please. I would like better detailed pirate ships. They do have pirate ships, but I would like better detailed pirate ships.
I wanted the one that I slept on. I didn't get that. I want to get, but now it's aftermarket stupid price. Was the ship in the bottle?
Yeah.
I wanted that one.
That's still on. I think that's still on my wish list because I liked that because that's the kind of detail I liked. The detail that was inside that.
Yes.
I would like them to scale that out to
To
make
a bigger size.
Yes, and
But
to
it was
actually base it on real ships.
Yeah, instead of a.
I would really very much enjoy that.
And I'm assuming you saw the Titanic.
Yeah, I saw the Titanic.
So when I was down in Disney this past January, they had the Lego store that we went to, and they had it out.
Yeah.
And I saw the whole thing.
It's massive.
And it is huge.
It is their biggest set they have ever produced.
And the fact that it breaks into 3 parts just cracks me up.
Well, yeah, so you can.
I'm like, oh,
here's
really?
the sinking. And
Too
here's,
soon?
Yep, here it goes. You can do it that way.
Yeah.
Listen, we are coming up on the top of the hour. Matt, thanks so
Hey,
much for coming
my
back
pleasure,
in.
man. My pleasure.
I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Duke, yeah, you missed a show with Matt. And we talked horror games, too,
Yeah,
the entire
I did.
time. So, yeah, because we brought up Resident Evil. But
I'm like the Spanish Inquisition. You never know when I could pop up.
never know. But I'm so glad you did. So have a great one, dude. Thank you so much. We'll
Happy
catch
Halloween,
you
everybody.
the next time you can come and do the show.
Yes.
RJ will be back next week. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great Halloween. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you next Saturday. Music here. I mean, might as well go with a classic. It's from Super Mario World. Excuse me. We'll be right back. Or no, we won't. We'll see you next Saturday. Bye.